Good day, sir. This is the report about my reflection and understanding of Marpol Annexes 1 to 4. Marpol Annex 1 Prevention of Pollution by Oil. Marpol Annex 1 is the first implementation made by Marpol 73-78, one of the most important international marine environmental conventions. The convention was designed to minimize pollution of the seas from ships. The objective of the convention is to preserve the marine environment through the complete elimination and pollution by oil and other harmful substances and the minimization of accidental discharge of such substances. The Marpol Annex 1 began to be enforced on October 2, 1983, and it details the prevention of pollution by oil and oily water. Marpol Annex 1 details discharge requirement for the prevention of pollution by oil and oily water. It continues to enforce the oil discharge criteria described in 1969 amendments to the 1954 Oil Pollution Convention. Oil tankers transport some 2,900 million tons of crude oil and oil products every year around the world by sea. Most of the time, oil is transported quietly and safely by the help of Marpol Annex 1. Second is Marpol Annex 2, Carriage of Noxious Liquid Substances in Bulk. Marpol Annex 2, Regulation for the Control of Pollution by Noxious Liquid Substances in Bulk sets out a pollution categorization of system for noxious and liquid substances. So there are 4 categories in Marpol Annex 2. First is Category X, noxious liquid substances which, if discharged into the sea from tank cleaning or deballasting operations, are deemed to present a major hazard to either marine resources of human health and therefore justify the prohibition of discharge into the marine environment. Second is Category Y, noxious liquid substances which, if discharged into the sea from tank cleaning or deballasting operations, are deemed to present a hazard to either marine resources or human health or cause harm to amenities or other legitimate uses of the sea, and therefore justify a limitation on the quality and quantity of discharge into the marine environment. So the third is Category Z, noxious liquid substances which, if discharged into the sea from tank cleaning or deballasting operation, are deemed to present a minor hazard to either marine resources or human health and therefore justify less stringent restriction on the quality and quantity of discharge into the marine environment. The last is substances which have been evaluated and found to fall outside of Category X, Y, or G because they are considered to present no harm to marine resources, human health, amenities, or other legitimate uses of the sea when discharged into the sea from tank cleaning of deballasting operations. The discharge of bilge or ballast water or other residues or mixture containing these substances are not subject to any requirement of Marpol Annex 2. The third annex is prevention of pollution by harmful substances carried by sea in package form. Roughly 15% of goods carried as cargo are dangerous goods. Annex 3, which came into force on January 7, 1992, contains requirements for sale handling of packaged substances that represent a serious risk to the environment, as well as guidelines for identification of harmful substances. The last is Marpol Annex 4. Annex 4 contains a set of regulations regarding the discharge of sewage into the sea from ships, including regulation regarding the ship's equipment and system for the control of sewage discharge, the provision of port reception facilities for sewage, and requirements for the survey and certification. The sewage waste produced by ships depends on the number of crew members and the type of ships. The large cruise ship can produce about 170,000 gallons of sewage on a daily basis. On an average of 0.01 to 0.06 m3 of sewage is produced per person in a day. The sewage discharged from the ship is allowed if it has an approved sewage treatment plant which can treat the raw sewage and discharge cleaned and disinfected sewage. With this arrangement, the discharge is allowed at a distance of more than 3 nautical miles from the nearest land when the ship is proceeding with a 4 knots and above.